detoxifying properties. But yes, if we want to go into the detail, in addition to the glyphosate, the heavy metals, and so on, we have demonstrated that Bravo is very effective in fighting the micro and, most importantly, nanoplastics. Studies have recently demonstrated that there are well, first of all, why are they called micro? Micro because they have the size of a micron. 1 micron is 1,000th of a millimeter. So let's start. There is 1 meter, more or less 1 yard. It's slightly more than 1 yard. 1,000th of a meter is 1 millimeter. 1,000th, so 1 millimeter, you still can see it, is like a hair, very thin hair. Then 1,000th of a millimeter is a micrometer. Microplastics are as small as 1 micrometer. 1,000th of a micrometer is called a nanometer. Now, to give you a comparison, human cells, they are big like 10 micrometers. So human cells, they're able to recognize microplastics. And somehow they're able to fight them, to phagocytate, that is to eat them and to eliminate. But 1 nanometer is 1,000th of the size of the cell. Cells cannot recognize them. The nanoplastics, they enter into the cells and they are not recognized, and they do damage to the DNA, they do damage to proteins, to RNA, and all the biochemistry of the cells. And they penetrate everywhere, in the brain, in the heart, in the placenta, so much that the researchers, they have coined a new word. They called it plasticenta instead of placenta, because even before we are born, we are contaminated with nanoplastics, mostly nanoplastics. How can we defend ourselves? We don't drink coffee any longer. We don't drink bottled water any longer. We only drink the water from the most pristine spring in the mountains. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, because it has been demonstrated that this type of pollution is so pervasive that even at the North Pole or in Antarctica, you find nanoplastics. You find nanoplastic inside the reindeers of Papa Noel up at the North Pole. You find nanoplastics everywhere. So how can we defend ourselves? Well, fortunately, the microbiome helps us. And when I say the microbiome, then of course I imply Bravo, because Bravo is the human microbiome. How do the microbes defend ourselves? 3 or 4 different biochemical mechanisms. I'll try to be not boring. One is to bind. So the microbes, they have a surface that is very sticky, so to speak. So they bind the nanoplastics. And when we eliminate the microbes, so when we go to the restroom, the nanoplastics are eliminated. So we can drink bottled water from, like this plastic bottle. And I don't care, because I know that there are nanoplastics here in this water, even though it comes from Hawaiian volcanic water. Well, but unfortunately, in the process, it has gone through plastic filters. It is in this plastic bottle. So I know there is a lot of nanoplastic, like 250,000 particles per milliliter. This is what has been counted. But I don't care, because I have had Bravo this morning, I shall have Bravo this evening, and all those nanoplastics will be bound to the microbes, and when tomorrow morning I go to the restroom, they are flushed down, period. So I enjoy the water, and the microbes, they take care of the plastics. This is one mechanism, binding and elimination. Second mechanism, degradation. Some of the strains of Bravo, they actually eat the plastic. For them, it's a very good food. It's a source of carbon, as we say. So they eat the plastic and they make CO2. CO2, every time I breathe, every time I exhale, the CO2 goes away, and the nanoplastic with it, because the microbes have eaten the plastic. I try to make it simple. The biochemical process is rather...
Well, I always tell people, what do they put on oil spills? Enzymes.
Beg your pardon?
What do they put on oil spills? Enzymes.
Exactly. This is what I wanted to say. It is called bioremediation. So on oil spills, they put microbes, and those microbes, they eat the oil, they enjoy it. It's a good food for them. And so some of the strains of Bravo that you don't find in any other probiotic, they enjoy eating plastics, and so it's a source of food for them. And then another mechanism is some of the molecules that Bravo produces, they do stimulate certain cells of the immune system that are called macrophages. One of these molecules is called GCMAF. MAF stands for macrophage activating factor. And there is plenty of this factor in Bravo, naturally produced. The microbes, they do produce this factor. Now, this factor stimulates the macrophages. The macrophages are cells of the immune system, and macrophages means big eaters because they're big and they eat. What do they eat? Everything that is foreign. And plastics are foreign, and so they're able to eat and destroy it. So different mechanisms through which Bravo takes care of the micro and nanoplastics. And this goes under the category of the detoxifying properties of Bravo. And then we could discuss at length about how does Bravo help with glyphosate or with heavy metals. But the mechanism is always more or less the same: binding and elimination, degradation.
Okay, so in conclusion, I think this is the fundamental question. I mean, I can't believe that every person on earth should be taking this, but the thing I want you to do, in as simple as you can, how in the heck did you invent this? How did you create this that nobody else has ever created?
Well, that was about 12 or 13 years ago. It was at the dawn of the research on the human microbiome. Uh, Let me briefly tell you about my scientific history. I've been working in parallel for the past 40 years on two different and parallel fields: oncology, it is cancer research, and neurology. So research in the field of neurodegenerative diseases, memory, and so on. Now, these two fields appear to be separate, completely different, but actually they are not. Because I was working in the field of the molecular biology of both, and I found out that there were some unifying properties. Some genes were responsible both for cancer and neurological diseases. And so I was looking for what is called a common denominator for different types of diseases. And the reasoning was that each type of human disease is not like a separate entity, like something that is not connected to the health of the organism. But I was struggling to find what the